Amir Qureshi, the ambitious Dubai gym owner, built an empire on discipline and desire, until his wife, Sarah, fell into a forbidden affair with their charming new trainer, Liam Rodriguez. What began as secret passion inside the mirrored walls of Titan Edge Fitness spiraled into betrayal, blackmail, and a chilling revenge that left one man missing, one empire destroyed, and one question haunting Dubai's elite: who really buried the truth in the desert? In the heart of Dubai's glittering marina district stood a gym unlike any other, Titan Edge Fitness. Its glass walls reflected the golden sunlight of the city, and its interior shimmered with state-of-the-art equipment imported from Europe. The gym was more than just a place to work out. It was a luxury statement, a gathering spot for the wealthy and image-conscious elite who believed that fitness was the new symbol of power. Celebrities, businessmen, and influencers all passed through its doors, chasing perfection under the careful gaze of its owner, Amir Qureshi. Amir was a 38-year-old entrepreneur who had built Titan Edge from nothing but ambition and charm. Once a personal trainer himself, he turned his passion for fitness into a multi-million dirham empire. He was disciplined, respected, and admired by everyone who knew him. His chiseled looks and quiet confidence made him a figure people noticed, even in Dubai's world of excess. To the outside world, Amir had it all: a successful business, a luxurious villa, and a beautiful wife named Sarah. Together, they appeared to live the dream life everyone envied. But behind the gym's spotless mirrors and perfect branding, there were cracks forming in Amir's world. The long hours at work had created distance between him and Sarah. Their conversations had become brief, their dinners quiet. Sarah's loneliness grew silently, even as she smiled for photographs at business events. Amir, focused on expansion plans and investors, failed to see it. He believed his success was enough to keep everything together. What he didn't know was that the gym that had built his fortune would soon become the stage for his downfall, a place where loyalty would fade, temptation would bloom, and a single secret would destroy everything he'd built. When Liam Rodriguez arrived in Dubai, he carried nothing but a duffel bag and a dream. At 28, he had spent years training clients in Brazil's beach gyms, sculpting both bodies and confidence. His good looks, magnetic energy, and sculpted physique made him stand out instantly. When he applied for a position at Titan Edge Fitness, Amir Qureshi saw potential: someone young, ambitious, and capable of attracting the gym's wealthy clientele. Liam was hired within a week, and within a month, he had become one of the most requested personal trainers on staff. Members admired his easy smile and dedication. He remembered everyone's names, offered small encouragements, and seemed genuinely invested in their progress. Beneath the charm, however, was a hunger that went beyond fitness. Liam wanted to rise in a city built on success and spectacle. He studied how Amir carried himself, how the gym operated, and what kind of people paid for memberships. Dubai's glittering wealth fascinated him, and he wanted a piece of it. Sarah Qureshi entered his life quietly, booking a private session under her husband's employee discount. She was elegant, soft-spoken, and carried herself with the quiet sadness of someone used to being unnoticed. Liam noticed. During their first session, he admired her discipline, her grace, and the subtle loneliness behind her polite smile. What began as casual training soon grew more personal. He adjusted her form gently, complimented her progress, and asked questions that made her feel seen. Amir's wife and his newest trainer, two people from opposite worlds, had crossed paths inside the gym's mirrored walls. Neither knew it yet, but their growing connection would set off a chain of events that would turn Titan Edge from a temple of ambition into a crime scene of betrayal. Days at Titan Edge Fitness began blending into one another. For most clients, the gym was a place of routine, but for Sarah and Liam, it became a secret world of glances and stolen moments. Their sessions grew longer under the pretext of extra endurance training. They stayed behind after hours when the gym was quiet and the lights were dimmed for closing. At first, their connection was subtle: a shared laugh, a brush of hands while adjusting weights, or the unspoken comfort of having someone finally pay attention. Soon, those moments grew into something far more dangerous. Amir, busy expanding the gym's franchise network, had little time to notice the changes in his wife. He trusted her completely, and she used that trust to hide her growing attachment to Liam. Sarah began dressing differently, choosing workout outfits that made her feel confident. Her tone brightened when she spoke about her sessions, and her phone, once always silent, started lighting up with messages she never explained. In the corner of the gym, cameras recorded almost every move, except in the private training room. That section was conveniently under maintenance, its security system awaiting repair. The two used that privacy as their shield. There, the sound of weights and distant music masked whispers and fleeting touches. Outside, they acted like strangers. Inside, the tension burned. Other trainers began to notice small things: Sarah's car parked after hours, Liam's sudden mood shifts, and unexplained schedule extensions. Yet no one dared to question Amir's wife. The gym's shining reputation depended on silence, and silence was exactly what surrounded them. What none of them realized was that one set of eyes had already begun watching more closely than they knew. Nadia Khan had been managing Titan Edge Fitness since its early days, long before it became one of Dubai's most elite gyms. She was efficient, observant, and fiercely loyal to Amir Qureshi. Every trainer, client, and schedule passed through her supervision. Nothing escaped her notice. Not the late-night bookings, not the mismatched records, not the subtle shifts in routine that others ignored. When Liam's popularity began to rise, Nadia watched him closely. She admired his talent, but sensed something off in his behavior. His sudden confidence, his expensive new watch, and the way he lingered near the private studio where Sarah trained all raised silent alarms. One evening, as she locked up the gym, she noticed a faint light still glowing inside the supposedly closed training room. The glass was fogged, and through it, she saw Liam leaving in a hurry, his shirt half-buttoned and his hair tousled. Minutes later, she caught a familiar fragrance in the air, Sarah's distinct perfume. Nadia said nothing, but her instincts screamed that something forbidden was happening. From that night onward, she began keeping quiet records. She saved copies of the gym's booking logs, screenshots of unusual expense entries, and photos from security footage that seemed out of place. She didn't intend to expose anyone yet. She only wanted evidence, in case the situation escalated. Weeks passed, and her suspicions hardened into certainty. Nadia knew the truth, but she also knew Amir. He was a man who valued control, not chaos. If she told him too soon, the outcome could destroy everything. So, she waited and watched, storing every clue in a secret folder. She didn't realize then that her silent vigilance would later play a central role in unraveling the dark web forming inside Titan Edge. As the weeks turned into months, the line between loyalty and desire disappeared completely. Sarah's once quiet life began to feel alive again, filled with emotions she had long forgotten. Liam made her laugh, listened to her frustrations, and reminded her what it felt like to be wanted. Their affair, once hidden behind the mirrored walls of Titan Edge, started to spill beyond it. They met in luxury hotels near Jumeirah and rented apartments, and occasionally at the Qureshi villa when Amir was away on business trips. Each meeting deepened the illusion that they were meant to be together, though both were living a lie. Liam was intoxicated by the world he had stepped into: designer clothes, private dinners, and the thrill of secrecy. But beneath his charming exterior, greed was growing. He saw in Sarah not just a lover, but a ticket to the lifestyle he had always dreamed of. He began planting ideas gently, suggesting she invest in his vision of launching his own fitness brand. Sarah, blinded by affection and guilt, started transferring small amounts of money, convincing herself it was harmless support. Amir remained unaware, or so it seemed. Sarah's excuses for long outings were easily accepted, as his focus was on new investors and expanding the gym's name across the Gulf. But cracks were beginning to show. Sarah's nervousness around him increased, and her phone never left her side. Liam, too, became careless, bragging subtly to other trainers, hinting that he had powerful connections. Their affair was no longer just emotional. It was built on money, lies, and risk. What had started as passion was turning into a dangerous dependency. Neither realized that every secret, every transfer, and every meeting was slowly tightening a noose that would soon choke them both. Amir Qureshi had always trusted his instincts more than anyone else's. It was that sharp intuition that had helped him build an empire from nothing. So when he returned from a 2-week business trip and noticed subtle changes in his home, something inside him stirred. Sarah's perfume lingered in the air longer than usual, her mood seemed distant, and she avoided eye contact when he spoke. Even the staff appeared nervous, as if holding back unspoken truths. Amir didn't confront her. He simply watched, quietly collecting small fragments of suspicion that soon formed a disturbing picture in his mind. Late one night, while reviewing gym security reports, Amir's curiosity turned into certainty. The logs showed irregular access to the private training room where Sarah's sessions took place. The security cameras in that section had been marked as under maintenance for months. The realization hit him hard. He didn't feel anger immediately, just a calm, icy determination. He needed proof, not emotions. The next morning, while Sarah was out shopping, Amir installed hidden cameras inside the villa. They were disguised as air fresheners, smoke detectors, and light fixtures, tiny, invisible eyes that would see everything. For days, he reviewed footage in silence, watching his wife move through the house, unaware of his surveillance. Then one afternoon, he saw it. Liam entering the villa while Amir was supposedly at a meeting. The footage confirmed what words could not. Amir watched the betrayal unfold frame by frame, his face expressionless. He didn't explode or confront anyone. Instead, he carefully saved the recordings, labeling each one with dates and times. What had started as suspicion had become a quiet declaration of war. And Amir was a man who never lost a fight. He only waited for the right moment to strike. Amir's calmness in the face of betrayal was almost unnerving. Instead of anger, he moved with precision, concealing his emotions behind a mask of composure. He greeted Sarah with warmth, complimented her appearance, and even praised Liam's exceptional dedication at the gym. His controlled demeanor made both of them believe they were still safe, unaware that every word and action was now being calculated. Amir had learned long ago that revenge was most effective when served silently. He began building his plan step by step. The first move was to gain Liam's trust. Amir started spending more time at the gym, striking up friendly conversations and asking for Liam's opinion on new programs. He even offered him extra bonuses for attracting new clients. Liam, blinded by greed, saw this as a sign of recognition. He bragged to others that Amir saw him as a rising star and hinted that he might soon be promoted. Behind the scenes, Amir hired a private investigator to follow Liam outside the gym. What the investigator uncovered added a darker twist to the story. Liam wasn't just unfaithful to Amir's wife. He was also deceiving another woman in Sharjah. He had a girlfriend there, a waitress, to whom he sent expensive gifts bought with money Sarah had secretly transferred to him. Amir's anger deepened, but he still showed no reaction. He began collecting documents, bank records, and surveillance data, slowly tightening the net around Liam. The trainer thought he was rising in power, but in reality, he was being led toward his own destruction. Amir's silence became the most dangerous weapon of all, a quiet storm waiting for the perfect moment to explode and destroy both lovers in one calculated strike. Amir's revenge began with an offer that looked too good to refuse. One afternoon, he invited Liam to his private office overlooking the marina skyline. The tone was casual, friendly, even generous. He told Liam about a new business venture, an expansion of Titan Edge Fitness into Abu Dhabi, complete with luxury equipment and celebrity partnerships. Amir explained that he wanted someone young and energetic to join him as a junior partner, someone who represented the future of fitness. Liam could hardly believe it. After months of dreaming about his own gym brand, the opportunity he'd fantasized about seemed to fall right into his hands. Amir presented a set of documents, investment papers, partnership contracts, and financial statements. The language was dense, filled with legal terms Liam didn't fully understand. But Amir's confident explanations made everything sound legitimate. Without hesitation, Liam signed. What he didn't know was that the papers were carefully crafted traps. Instead of granting him partnership rights, they handed Amir full control over Liam's assets and linked him to fraudulent transactions involving Sarah's bank account transfers. Liam left the meeting ecstatic, imagining his future as a business owner. He didn't notice Amir's faint, knowing smile as he shook his hand. The trap was now complete. Over the next few weeks, Amir quietly leaked subtle information to financial authorities, painting Liam as a dishonest employee who had been embezzling money from clients. At the same time, he made sure Sarah's involvement remained invisible. As Liam celebrated his supposed success, his downfall was already unfolding. Every move he made, every payment he received, was now documented as evidence against him. Amir had turned the game completely, transforming himself from a betrayed husband into a silent puppeteer controlling every string of their fate. Sarah's world began to unravel the moment she stumbled upon the small black USB drive in Amir's study. It was hidden beneath a stack of business files, almost as if placed there to be discovered. Curiosity overcame caution. When she opened it on her laptop, her breath caught in her throat. Folder after folder contained hidden camera footage, each one labeled with dates, times, and locations. At first, the clips seemed ordinary. Her moving around the villa, talking on the phone, working out. But then came the ones that shattered her composure. Videos of Liam entering the house, staying for hours, and leaving through the back gate. Every secret she thought was safe had been captured. For several minutes, Sarah sat frozen, her heartbeat echoing in her ears. She had expected anger, confrontation, or even punishment, but what she saw next terrified her more than any outburst could. Amir appeared in one of the recordings, sitting calmly at his desk, organizing the footage, his face emotionless. He wasn't shocked or hurt. He was methodical, patient, in complete control. It was clear he had known everything for weeks, maybe months. He wasn't gathering proof to seek justice. He was preparing for something far more deliberate. Sarah realized she wasn't just part of an affair anymore. She was a pawn in a game that Amir was silently winning. The thought of what he might do next consumed her. She deleted nothing, afraid it would worsen her situation. Each night, she lay awake beside him, pretending to sleep while wondering when his revenge would begin. What frightened her most wasn't that he had discovered her betrayal. It was that he had yet to react. His silence had become the loudest warning of all. The first sign that something had gone terribly wrong came on a humid Thursday morning when Liam failed to show up for his early client session. At first, the other trainers assumed he had overslept or fallen ill. Calls went unanswered, messages were marked as read but never replied to, and by evening, his apartment was found empty. His gym bag was still in the locker room, his car missing from the parking lot. When Sarah heard the news, a wave of panic rushed through her. She tried calling him repeatedly, her hands trembling, but the line remained dead. Desperate, she turned to Amir, feigning ignorance and worry. He listened silently, his expression calm as always. After a moment, he told her that Liam had been fired for financial misconduct and that he might have fled the country to avoid legal trouble. His tone was steady, almost reassuring, but his eyes held something she couldn't read. That night, she barely slept. Deep down, she knew Amir's calmness meant danger. The next morning, police reports spread quickly across Dubai. An abandoned car had been discovered near the Al Qudra Desert Highway. Inside were Liam's gym ID, his phone, and bloodstains on the seat. There was no sign of a struggle, no footprints, and no body. The police treated it as a possible disappearance, maybe even suicide, but whispers in the gym said otherwise. Some suspected a setup, others believed he had enemies. Sarah's fear grew unbearable. She wanted to go to the police, but stopped herself every time. Amir's silence was heavier than guilt. It was control. Deep down, she felt the truth pressing against her chest. Liam hadn't vanished by choice. Someone had made sure he would never return. The news of Liam's disappearance spread through Dubai's fitness circles like wildfire. Titan Edge Fitness, once a symbol of luxury and health, quickly became the center of scandal and speculation. Journalists camped outside the glass-fronted building, snapping photos of staff leaving in silence. Members began canceling their memberships, unwilling to be associated with the mystery surrounding their once glamorous gym. Rumors circulated. Some whispered that Liam had been involved in fraud. Others claimed he had been having an affair with someone powerful's wife. Every story added a new layer of darkness to the brand Amir had built so carefully. Inside the villa, Sarah was falling apart. Her days blurred together in a haze of fear and guilt. She couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and every time her phone rang, she feared it was the police. The images of Liam's last moments haunted her imagination. Amir, on the other hand, remained eerily composed. He went about his daily routine, attending meetings and answering journalists with polite denials. When police questioned him, he provided full cooperation, even expressing sadness over the disappearance of his trusted employee. No evidence linked him to the case, and eventually, suspicion faded, at least on the surface. But behind closed doors, Sarah couldn't take the pressure anymore. One night, trembling and broken, she went to the police herself. She confessed to the affair, claiming she knew nothing about Liam's disappearance but couldn't live with the guilt. The confession became front-page news overnight. Though Amir was never charged, the scandal destroyed his reputation. Investors withdrew, partners distanced themselves, and within months, Titan Edge Fitness was forced to close. Amir vanished from Dubai quietly, leaving behind only whispers, suspicions, and a shattered empire built on deceit. A full year passed before the mystery resurfaced. The desert had long swallowed its secrets, but one scorching afternoon, a group of hikers stumbled upon something half-buried beneath the sand near Al-Qudra. It was a shallow grave, eroded by wind, revealing the remains of a man. Investigators were called, and within days, DNA tests confirmed what many had suspected. Liam Rodriguez had finally been found. The cause of death was blunt force trauma to the skull, and traces of duct tape and rope suggested he had been restrained. The discovery reopened the case, sending shockwaves through Dubai's social circles once again. Police tried to locate Amir Qureshi, but he had disappeared entirely. His phone numbers were inactive, his villa sold under a different name, and his bank accounts emptied. The only trace left behind was a withdrawal made from a Lisbon bank months earlier. Meanwhile, Sarah was nowhere to be found in Dubai either. Rumors claimed she had fled after the scandal. Others believed she had followed Amir abroad. Then, almost a year later, in a quiet Portuguese town, a small fitness studio opened under the name Titan Reborn. It was modest, nothing like the glamorous gym in Dubai, but it carried the same symbol in its logo. The studio was owned by a woman named Sarah Costa, who kept mostly to herself. Locals described her as polite but distant, always wearing long sleeves even in summer, with a faint scar on her left wrist. Some said her husband died years ago. Others whispered she was hiding from someone. No one knew the full truth, whether Amir had killed Liam and escaped, or whether Sarah had turned against both men. But one thing was certain. Their affair had ended not in passion, but in blood and silence.